I just think it's a bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Sofa, chair, bed, you know, whatever, wherever you want to be, really. So if where you're sat, if your feet are on the ground, then that's fine. But if they're not, you know, if you want to sit on your bed, like with your legs out in front of you or whatever, like just make it, you know, do whatever you need to do. We there's no rules. There can't be any rules this early in the year. It's too much. So just take a second, take a minute, take as long as you need. If it takes 45 minutes for you just to kind of like arrive here, that's fine. You know, we've got the time. If you want to close your eyes for a minute, if you want to keep them open, please do. And if there's anything that you can do in this first initial moment, just to make your body a little bit more comfortable, please do that. So if it is another blanket over your legs or something, or a slight rearranging of your position, or even changing, you know, moving to a different chair or moving to the end of the bed, whatever you need. If you can do it, just allow yourself to take care of that now. And then just taking a few moments, and I'll sort of not talk too much, just so you can have a kind of quiet check-in perhaps with how you are this morning. How you are in body. How you are in mind. Perhaps just an invitation, it's not a have to, but just observing what it is that you're hoping to get out of this practice today. Is there something that has just sort of been the driver to getting you here in front of the screen? Or maybe it's an intention rather than a hope. But if there's something, just acknowledging that. And know that yoga is a practice that doesn't ask us to do or be anything that we're not already. So at this time of year, it can feel exceptionally noisy. There is all this kind of fix this, solve that, improve that, lots of that talk. And actually what yoga is a practice of accepting in the moment where we are. So it's not asking us to be anything different. So you have everything that you need by just being here, which is quite a lovely, freeing idea, I think, especially at this time of year. If you want to, you can just begin to perhaps just lengthen your breaths a little bit. It doesn't matter whether you're choosing to breathe in through your nose or to breathe in and out through your mouth, or a bit of both, whichever feels easiest for you. But if you can, just draw out each breath. Make them just a little bit longer. The inhale and the exhale. Really giving yourself that reminder that there is no rush in this session. It's steady. And then take your time. Perhaps now as you inhale, as you keep the breath just coming in and out nice and steady, as you inhale, just let the shoulders draw upwards. So we'll start with that lovely shoulder sigh that we're familiar with. As you exhale, just going to let the shoulders gently sink down as your breath leaves your body. So just timing, movement of shoulders with each breath. Inhale, slide them up. And exhale, let them just sort of like dissolve downwards. Gorgeous. Do a few like that if that feels good. And shoulders sink down Imagine that somebody's just placed like 2 quite heavy weights on top of your shoulders, and just kind of how that would feel, kind of that sort of drawing of them downwards. Easing out of any kind of thought, tension that can live up here, around the head, around the neck, around the shoulders, just letting that go. Now, if that feels nice, you can stay with that, or we can just change up the breath and the movement a little bit. So I'll give you an option. You can choose which one works for you. We're going to still stick with moving with the breath, but we're going to inhale, bring the arms out wide, almost like you're ready to kind of get a really big hug from someone. And then as you exhale, just going to start to let the hands move back together and just rest the palms together at the center of the chest or the center of the ribs. So in that prayer position, so you could inhale, start to expand the arms outwards. Nice. And as you exhale, just drawing them back together again. So you might be here, or you might stay with that lovely shoulder sigh if that's feeling really
much. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. Take care.
Fabulous. And as you draw, if you're here with me, especially as you draw the arms outwards, kind of almost imagining the hands like magnets. So they are kind of always drawn back together. And when they do land together, just notice what you feel. It might be the temperature of your hands. And today they might be cold. It might be the fingertips sort of pressing together. The next time your shoulders drop, or the next time your hands meet at the center of your body, just take a pause. You don't need to change anything. Just stop where you are and just, again, just allow your breath to flood in and maybe out with a sigh now. So if you want to, just letting that breath be a little bit more releaseful, audible as you let it go. Take 3 like that. So drawing the breath in and then letting it go, perhaps with a sigh. Nice. And one more time, drawing that breath in, perhaps a little bit longer breath if you can. And then letting it go. Emptying the breath fully and completely. And if your hands are together, just letting the hands relax. And you might just want to give the hands a little shake, or the hands a little rub together, perhaps, just kind of something that just helps you connect with that kind of energy, or at the very least, warm your hands back up. And then just letting the arms rest by your side or in your lap. So let's just take our attention up towards the head and the neck. So we're just going to work today with a kind of a half moon shape with the head and the neck. So we'll take our right ear over towards our right shoulder to begin. You'll feel just that perhaps an extra bit of length through the left side of your neck. If you want to pause there and feel that stretch, you can. Or just going to let the chin draw down towards the center of the chest and draw like a half semicircle. Eventually the left ear will end up sort of in the direction of our left shoulder. Again, you might pause to feel that right side, breathing steadily. And then at your pace, just keep that gentle roll of your head going. And this can be, if your chin isn't on your chest, like it doesn't have to be connected. You might just drop the chin slightly and roll the head. And the only thing that I might suggest, and I felt it there in my body, my shoulders were kind of rolling forward. If you can just try and gently just roll them back, as sort of keeping them sort of more, the chest more open as you roll the head. It might feel a little different. So see how you go. Chest staying as open as we can. Excuse me, I'm just going to do a cough. Hmm. And as you roll the head, perhaps observe what your jaw is doing at the same time. Is it clenching, or can you be sort of loose and relaxed in your jaw and your mouth? You might.
It's hard to not, with hypermobility, it's hard not to, completely let your,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
because when I get a massage, I notice that because she knows about EDS, she'll prop my head up.
Mhm.
She'll massage me here because she knows that I can go all the way down.
Go all the way.
Yeah.
How do you feel as an alternative then to, like, just if you imagined drawing, like, if you imagined a piece of chalk on the tip of your nose, how does it feel instead drawing like a circle with the tip of your nose, but just trying to keep your circle smaller, because you, like you said, you know that your head and your neck can go and will to that extra extended.
Yeah.
Maybe just trying that, and it's so the movement is still there, but it's just that your sort of your aim is to keep it just that little bit more contained.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
I mean, I don't feel the stretch as much, but then maybe that's a good thing, because I think sometimes when I do that stretch,
Yeah,
it can have a tendency to kind of sublux slightly.
yeah.
Then does cause that tension there anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe it is good for me to just do it really small.
Smaller, so that so maybe just so where your body knows that it can go to that, what it's like, full range, like.
Yeah, because that's kind of my problem area is my neck and the back of my head nowadays.
Okay.
So I probably should be a bit more conscious of that area, I suppose.
Yeah, so just trying to almost like pull back what your body is trying to do and just keep things a little bit smaller. I know that's
It's quite hard to do, isn't it?
easier. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for that.
It's okay, lovely. So just let that rest for a moment, and if the shoulders need to kind of roll or shrug or resettle, they can just sort of take in a little pause there. And again, if your body position, like mine just sort of shifted forward, like you might just want to kind of find the back of your chair again so that the back feels really supported again, or more supported. Just sitting nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. And again, just checking in with the muscles of your face. Can they soften? Can they sort of let go of any of that tension that might have crept towards them? Nice. And then we're just going to take the head, turn it gently over the right shoulder. So instead of a tilt, you're just going to turn your gaze as though you're looking towards the right shoulder. Again, that doesn't need to be that you're trying to look behind you. You might just almost imagine somebody is sat next to you or sat just in front of you, and you're turning to look at them. And then if you want to, the left arm can just gently float away from your body, just a little bit. And just trying to keep the breath moving gently in and out, and then you can release the hand down, and then the head can come back to the center. Nice. And then again, take it over to the left, so just a turn of the neck. You can just leave it like that if you like. That might just feel enough to let the neck twist in that direction. If you want to, you can take the right arm and just float it up away from your body slightly as you turn your gaze away. Up. Nice long deep breath in, and then as you let that breath go, slowly release the hand down and draw your head back to the center. Lovely, everyone, really nice. If you bring the hands to the knees or the thighs or the hip, the creases of your hips, kind of wherever the hands reach, we're just going to draw the chest slightly forward, slightly up. So if you imagine that you've got like a torchlight in the center of your chest, you're trying to get it from aiming forward to aiming just slightly up at a diagonal. So just lift the chest almost like through the tops of your arms or the tops of your shoulders. So we'll take a breath in there. Then as you breathe out, you're just going to let either your spine can return to neutral if you want to, or it can slightly tuck. So if you feel the pelvis kind of tuck underneath you, and your shoulders roll forward, so you get just that slight C shape of the spine. You might move between the two, so going chest sort of gently lifting as you inhale. Or you might just find that moving from one of those shapes back to neutral is really nice. So if I have pain in my lower back, which sometimes flares up because of an old injury, that position with my chest lifted feels too intense for me. So sometimes I will just do the slightly rounding and then just bring my spine back to neutral, and I'll go kind of round, neutral, round, neutral. So if one of those is feeling good for you today and the other isn't, then you can try it like that. The two together don't always, you can, sometimes it's great for us and sometimes it's not. And again, just that reminder that the movement can be smaller. And especially if you feel like your spine really wants to kind of arch to its full capacity, it might be a good idea just to kind of just draw it back. Just slightly. Nice. Do just a couple more like that. Slow and gentle. Just offering the spine the chance to wave and mobilize in between those vertebrae. And it might feel stiff or tight or sore. Just move gently. Nice. Last one, and then just finding that kind of middle point, that point of neutrality in the spine. Somewhere where if you imagine like a sort of a line of string from your tailbone up towards the top of your head, sort of that middle point where your head is stacked sort of as neatly on top of your tailbone, where your tailbone is as possible. Again, using the support of the back of the chair if you need it. You don't have to do all of that work of sitting up tall on your own. We're going to take the arms upwards now. So as we breathe in, we'll just sweep the arms up. Of course, you can do this without the sweep of the arms. As you exhale, we're just going to take a gentle twist through the spine. So your hips and legs are going to stay where they are. It's the spine that's going to turn gently to the right. And then we'll just let the hands land one slightly behind you. You can use the chair. And then the left hand on to the top of the right leg somewhere. And then we're just, again, this sort of center of the chest. We're just working to keep that space in the body open and forward if we can. Your neck doesn't have to move at all. So if you want to, the movement can come from the spine and your neck can stay where it is. If you want to take a gentle extra turn with the head and the neck, you can, just being mindful. Try not to force or try to just not needing to be to the full capacity. And let the breath just come in a few times there, as though you were trying to breathe all the way down into your belly. And then as you exhale, just letting your body relax more into the chair. Lovely. And then we'll gently release that twist. Before we do the other side, we'll just take the right hand either just down by the side, or you might you could even sit on your hand or grab the underside of your chair and just let the left arm sweep up and take that kind of like, I'm going to call it a banana shape stretch over to that side. Again, if the arm is down, absolutely fine, but you can still allow the side of your body to bend towards the right. Lovely. Nice deep breath in. And nice full breath out. And then really gently just coming back. And if that left arm was lifted, just let it kind of flow down to the lap again. Nice and gently, nice and slow. Lovely. So again, we'll twist to the left this time, with or without the arms. So we'll breathe in. You might find a bit more length through your spine. You might sit a little taller. As you exhale, we're going to take the twist over to the left. Let the arms settle down. Right hand over towards the left leg somewhere. And the left hand perhaps just behind you or gripping onto the side of the chair gently. We'll work to lift sort of up and out of the chest. Keeping the neck and the shoulders relaxed. The muscles of the face relax as you just take perhaps 2 rounds of breath here. As you exhale, letting the hips and the legs just sink more completely into the chair. And then coming back gently to the center. And again, with or without that top right arm, you can take that side bend over to the left side. So left hand can just be by your side. Right arm might sweep over. Or maybe you just, sometimes I will imagine creeping my left fingers a bit lower, and that will help me kind of find that side bend without my right arm being up and over the top of me. So see where you need to be today. Nice deep breath in. And as you let the breath go, just really slowly, letting your spine return, letting that right arm float down gently, back down to your lap. And then just seeing it, letting yourself take maybe an organic little wiggle if there's something that feels good there. As you come back to sitting, as you let that side bend go. Awesome. Nice. So depending on where your legs are, if they are on the floor, if your feet are on the floor, just take them out a bit wide. If you do happen to be sat in a bed, like with your legs out in front of you, again, just kind of give yourself a bit more space between your legs. Perfect. So we're just going to take a little wave, kind of fold forward. We'll move with the breath. I'll take myself to the side just so you can see from the side. So we're just going to kind of, we're going to do like a half section of a sun salutation. So we're going to stay in our chair, we're staying seated, just bringing a little bit more slow and steady rhythm to the body. So really kind of trying to tap into like a fluidity in the movement. So it can be like sort of wavy and soft with that intention of kind of trying to ease some tension. So we'll breathe, we'll go through it really slowly together. So we'll breathe in. If you want to, the arms can raise up with that breath in, but they don't have to. As you breathe out, we're going to fold forward. So you're going to maybe bring the hands to the knees and just let your spine sort of inch forward. It doesn't need to be like this. You can just maybe rest kind of halfway, leaning forward slightly. Then we're going to breathe in again, and you're going to just lift your chest a little bit, like you're looking ahead of you. And then you're going to exhale, and you're going to just let that relax again. Nice. And then on the next breath in, we're going to rise up all the way. So I like to use my hands on my thighs here to give myself a bit of support. And then the arms are going to raise up if you want them to. And they're going to draw together like we did at the beginning, hands together at the center of the chest. Perfect. So we'll do a few, just nice and slow and steady. If you find that you're like, oh, Meg, I want to do this faster, go for it. If you're like, oh, Meg, I want to do this slower, go for it. But I'll kind of set a pace that you can join with if you like. So we'll breathe in. If the arms are raising up, go for it. You might just breathe in and sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, we're going to let the hands rest on the knees and we're going to just fold forward. So it doesn't have to be a full fold. You might just move the chest and the torso forward in space. As you breathe in, just lift the chest a little bit like you're looking back towards me. Yay, hi. As you exhale, let that just release again. When you're ready to take your next in-breath, you're going to just rise up. The arms might come with you. Bringing the hands together at the center of your, and again, just taking a pause, breathe a couple of times. And each round, it might feel a bit different. You might do something a bit different each time, so let it, that's fine. It doesn't need to be exactly the same every time. It's just it's a really nice way of sort of mobilizing as much of the body as we can, finding that sort of fluidity. It's really lovely movement for the spine. We'll do one more. So whenever you're ready, breathing in, optional arms reaching up. As we exhale, let the hands just rest on the knees or the thighs. Take your sort of your heart, your center of your chest forward as you fold. Breathing in, gonna lift up, look forwards. And exhale, you're just gonna let yourself drop forward one more time. If it feels nice to stay here for a breath, you can rest on the hands or rest on the elbows. You can make a little kind of movement left to right if that feels nice in the lower back. So definitely supporting your body on your legs rather than just hanging forward. And then when you're ready, next breath in, whenever it comes, you're going to use that inhale to drive you up. Maybe the arms kind of sweep up with you. And as you exhale, settle back in your chair, just letting your hands rest, palms together at the center of your chest. And again, just feeling the temperature of your hands, the texture of the fingertips together, or maybe even they're resting on your top, your jumper, just whatever texture that feels like against the hands. Draw the breath in through the nose or the mouth. And let that big releasing breath sigh out if you can. Lovely. 2 more like that. Draw the breath in. Sigh it out and away. And last one, breathing in. And letting it go. Amazing work. Release your hands. You can keep the feet sort of a bit wider apart, or they can go even wider if you like. But we definitely want some space still between them. Hands on the thighs. So we will have done this one before together. We're just going to sit forward just a little bit. So if you feel from a normal neutral sitting position, you can sort of feel the pelvis sort of evenly balanced on the chair. You're just going to tilt your weight slightly into the front of your pelvis. It's almost like you sort of lifted your bum cheeks away from the floor, away from the chair. Lift off the floor. Nice. So we've got a slight lean forward of the spine, just slightly. You're then just going to take your right shoulder over in the direction of your left knee. And as we do that, we're going to try and keep that right leg where it is. So sometimes the right knee wants to like sort of come with us, but we're just going to take shoulder towards opposite knee and then come back up. And then left shoulder can just move gently towards the right knee. Lovely. And then if you like, you can start to move with breath. So your inhale draws you back through the middle. And as you exhale, you just take opposite shoulder towards opposite knee. So everybody might be moving slightly differently paced. As we breathe at different speeds, don't need to sort of worry about where anyone else is on the video, just focusing on how that feels for you. Nice. So we're allowing the spine to twist, but in a slightly different way. Sometimes you might feel, especially in this one, sometimes I'll feel it down the inside of my thigh as well. If it feels too strong anywhere, we're going to just make the movement smaller. You can always reduce the width of the feet and reduce how far you're leaning forward. Lovely. We'll take 2 more wherever we are. So do 1 more, shoulder to knee on both sides. And then coming back to the middle, just taking yourself, so from the front of your pelvis, just reset the balance, just sit back neutrally, let your spine rise up, sit back into the back of the chair. Maybe just draw the feet a little bit more closer together, right, roughly hip distance apart. And then again, just settle. If you need wiggles, go for wiggles. We've got 1 more little movement snack, and then we're gonna just sort of wind it down and take a little relaxation. So with this one, slightly a little bit more active. So just to end on a slightly more active note for today, we're gonna lift up if we can, and if you can't, and if this is where if you've got like a big book or a big firm cushion, that can be helpful. I'm gonna use this box just to show you. So either we're going to lift a knee, and you might sort of hold on to the knee. Sometimes I will grab my trousers and pull it up like that. Or you're just going to maybe lift the foot so that it's onto something a little higher than the floor. It's completely up to you. You don't have to hold the leg if you feel like you can hold it in the air without holding onto it. Great. We're then just going to take, so if we've lifted up the right leg, really testing my coordination here, we're going to take the left arm out to the side. So you might be here, you might be here, you might be here. You could even just pick up the heel of your foot and come onto your toes. Amazing. And then just rest that for a moment. And let the body, let that right hip, that right thigh just totally relax. And then we're just going to do that 1 more time. So you're going to pick up or raise up or just lift the heel of that right leg away from the floor any amount. You can let that ankle rotate a little bit. Try seeing how that left arm extends out to the side. And then if you want an extra active moment, just maybe the right arm as well comes out to the side while that leg is lifted. It can be still, it can be just wriggling, rolling out the ankle. Lift the chest, breathe in and smile. And then let everything relax down. Beautiful. Give that thigh like a nice little rub or a gentle pat. Thank you, thigh. And then we'll take it to the other side. So again, you might want to lift the foot. You might want to just lift the heel. You might want to draw the knee up with a little bit of help from your hands or your trousers. See how you go. You might want to just start by popping that right arm out. And maybe flex and point the foot here if that feels nice, or you just scrunch the toes and then let them stretch. Try not to hold the breath. As you release the next exhale, just let the leg and arm release, let them relax. And that left thigh, just totally let it go, like let it be wobbly and relaxed and soft. And then final time, same again, or you can add that extra bonus arm if you want to. Wherever you are is perfect. So don't feel like you've got to push. If you feel like you've got that moment of floating in that left leg, keep breathing, keep lifting through your chest. And relax. Arms float down. Leg, foot comes down to the floor. You can take it off your toes or off your book or back out of the air and relax. You might just want to kind of really softly out and in both thighs a little bit. Might feel nice. And then just coming to rest wherever is comfortable. So maybe where it might be in the same position that you started, or it might be somewhere different. So just kind of allowing yourself to let go of that final little movement. Really rest. You might kind of just sort of move the flesh of your buttocks out the way so you can sit a little bit more deeply into your chair. You might stick an extra cushion behind you if you feel like that would be extra comfy. Something behind the head so you can lean back maybe. And again, if you want to close your eyes here, please do, but you don't have to. And just as I invited you at the beginning, if there's anything that you can find here to make your body or just you feel more comfortable, so maybe just assessing that gently, quickly. Is there anything else I need? We'll take 3 breaths together. Again, slow and steady. So we'll breathe in and down towards the lower belly. And then we'll let it go, maybe with a sigh, maybe just a slightly more gentle exhale. Number 2, here we go, drawing the breath in, letting it go. Last one, breathing in and exhaling to empty. And then we'll just allow our breath to kind of fall back to like a much more organic sort of flow and rhythm. So you don't need to be aware now of each and every breath, unless you want to, of course. You can just give your body permission to breathe and your body permission just to be. It doesn't matter if your body isn't completely still. You might need to move or fidget or adjust. It also doesn't matter if while we're here, your mind wanders to places that aren't here and now. If you've got the capacity to notice that and gently guide your attention back to your bottom in the seat, your feet maybe on the floor, or your back resting against the chair. Just gently guiding yourself back. If your mind is really busy today and just the notion of sitting and not doing is not possible, that's okay as well. You might want to try just really honing in on one sensation that you can, or one sound that's in your vicinity. You might just want to gently take your gaze to something in your surroundings and just really use that as some form of anchor to the present moment. But be gentle with yourself because it's a hard thing to do. And if today you feel like you would like longer to be quiet and still or with yourself, and you can just take the time. You don't need to end unless you want to. You are going to close or finish with me today, just start to gently bring something to your mind that you might be grateful for today. Or maybe not the whole day, but just grateful for in this moment, maybe. And just sort of hold it there, the image or the memory or the imagination of that thing or person or feeling. And as though you could breathe it in, just take a few deeper breaths. Start to wiggle your fingers or your toes, or make some soft movement with any part of your body that is ready to move. When you're ready, you can start to blink your eyes open. Let your vision clear, and we'll take one final breath together. So we might inhale, sit tall, or maybe sweep your arms up or out. And as you exhale, drawing your hands back together to rest, either hands together or just one hand on top of one on the chest. Thank you so much.